Hey, welcome everybody. I wanted to talk today about restoring and backing up your drive and using this nifty new free program that has a lot of value to it. Even purchasing the full version of it has a lot of benefits as well. But I got to say that this utility works quite well. It'll work over a network, so you can actually log on to a network share. I'm going to show that to back it up, and I'm going to be able to create the medium, everything. I'm doing this in a virtual VMware workstation 12, so you guys can follow along. This will work just like on a regular computer to boot it up in either a USB device or with a CD. I'm going to use the ISO version to boot it up since I'm going to be booting this up in a VMware workstation environment. So let's get started. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to be able to go download from the web here, and this one's called Aomei. I'm not sure if I pronounce it correct or not. I'm sure that people are going to correct me as soon as you hear this anyway. So wait for the web page to come up here. I believe it's called Aomei Backer Upper is what the name of it is. Hang on just a moment here. I didn't initialize the first page here the first time with the setup here. Let's do, it's Aomei, I believe. Yeah, there it is. It's Aomei Backer Upper. This is quite a cool utility. I have actually been using it on the network, at work as well, and it's been showing that it can actually restore the image from multiple machines at the same time from one image on the network. It has been working quite successful to do this. I cannot tell you how well this program works, and it's worth every penny of it. If you do buy the full or the pro version of it, it's worth it. It is faster with the pro version of it. This one, just for the standard version of it, works decent, especially to be able to back up and then restore and recover the actual software. I think it's totally awesome. So I am running a bit slow here because of the frame rate that I'm recording with Camtasia here. And I believe I started downloading it. Let's go down here just to make sure. Yeah, it's local download. Usually do download too. And the beauty of this is you can make a multimedia to be able to do recovery on, and that's something that I'm going to set up on here to be able to get it. I think it's downloaded here. Let me go check in the downloads folder. I'm not used to the delay on this here. Hang on. Oh, looks like I did not download it. Looks like it didn't start. There it is. Just a little bit of a delay I'm not used to. And it just means I need to bring up the RAM value on my virtual machine here. Download. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the desktop to download it. Right during this, I'm going to go ahead and up the memory on my VM here. It's a little on the low side. May not have liked me for doing that in the middle of the demonstration here, but we'll see. If it cannot recover, I may have to start the download again, which I think possibly I need to stop it. And looks like it just went through. Alright, let's go ahead and run it. And I did say put it on the desktop, so there it is. Alright, looks good. Let's go ahead and install it. So the software will actually work from installing it and taking an image of itself and then storing it off site. Now, there's some things that you need to know about when you're going to restore it to different hardware. There's a utility. They've conveniently allowed you to have DOS commands within the utility. That utility now, if you're familiar with using diskpart, you can remove the partition. With tests that I've done with this, if you try to just recover back over an operating system or something that's already on another drive or another computer, you're going to have problems because it does not overwrite it. So that's the part of being free that you're going to have to deal with. But for the most part, it doesn't work. I generally don't turn on their improvement program. It's solely up to you. This is, like I said, is a demonstrational version. I would like to be able to demonstrate the full version later on if the company wants to support that. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that. Let's do the enjoy now. And we'll bring it up. One of the first things I want to do as well is I want to go to the Utilities tab, and I want to create a bootable media. That's what we're going to use to be able to recover it on something else. Now, I've had limited results with using the Linux version of it being compatible with different systems. The one for creating the Windows PE has been the most compatible, and I recommend you use that for most Windows machines. So go ahead and click next on it, and I want to use this as a legacy booting. And I do want to download the WinPE environment from the internet, which does make this thing work quite well. Go ahead and click next on that. And we're going to push this to an ISO image so that I can boot this media up in another VM. But in this case, what you do is you use that ISO and create a CD, or if you have a USB bootable device, like a thumb drive that you have that's open, you have enough space on it to do it, or do so. It works quite well from booting from the USB. It is faster booting from the USB than I've done it in a network environment. The CD-ROM loading is a little slow on the machines, but once the application is up and running, it works beautifully. But yeah, I would do the USB if you want to have a little bit more speed with it. Let's go ahead and click next. It says save on the desktop. This is going to take a second, so I'm going to go ahead and pause this version of it until it downloads and installs, and then I'll be back. Looks like it's just about done here. Well, thought it was. Pause it again until it finishes. Alright, it looks like it's completed, and it's run the whole ISO, and I see that it has created an ISO image right here on the desktop. Go ahead and click finish on that. And for the moment being, what I want to do is I want to be able to create a backup image of this. And I'm going to go ahead and use my network storage to be able to send this to. In your case, you could hook up an external drive, USB drive, which would be perfectly okay. It would fit on it without any issues. You just need to have enough space on what drive you're going to back it up to. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's do a system backup. And what we want to do is we want to change the name right off the bat up here at the top so we can control what it's called. And we're going to call this one YouTube BK for backup. Okay, and I'm going to click down here on step 2. This is where I can send the image. So in this case, I can put it even on the same drive, or I can put it on an external drive. I'm going to go ahead and put it on my network storage, and I'm going to go ahead and add a network share to this. And I'm going to give it a share name here. I'm going to actually give it the IP address on my network storage here. I believe I have a folder called backup on it though. Hang on just a second, I need to take a look what the name of my folder is. Alright, so I have it here in minus data backup, and then backup dash OS. You need to put in your username and password for this. If your network is secured, it requires a password. Alright, you see I have some folders here where I created it. This is where I'm going to load it. I kind of pretty much did it right off the bat to the folder where I want. Went into that path, so I'm going to go ahead and click OK on it. So it's telling me I have the location here and where I'm going to send it to. You do have some backup options on here. I have used different compression settings. None works pretty well if you want it to go pretty fast. Normal is a decent compression. With the high compression rate, it does take longer and it requires a decent machine to do it. So if you have a very slow machine, you got to make the choice between normal and none to be able to do it. You can split up the size of the file sizes if you need to, depending on your backup. You want to put them on a DVD or a Blu-ray or however you want to back it up. So you can actually put some comments in here to tell what it was about. Say like this one. In this case, this is a YouTube test, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and I want to start my backup of this OS. And that's pretty much it to start it up. I'm going to go ahead and back it up first, and then we're going to restore this image on another drive. And I'm going to go ahead and pause that while that's doing it. Kind of give you roughly about how long it took when it comes up. So, all right, it looks like it's backed up. It took about 8 minutes to do this, and 8 minutes was about 13 gigabits to be able to transfer over the network. So it's not super fast, but it does have a lot of advantages over the backup software. So I'm going to go ahead and finish that. And you see that it has backed up on it, which is totally awesome. So we kind of look through a little bit of the utilities, but the utility here is really where I want to get to where there's awesome. So there's some things that you can do by merging images on here, which has to be from the pro version of it. There's some other unique little utilities on here as well, but the main thing that it also has, whenever you set something up or you're trying to install this on another machine, you need to be able to get into some of the disk utilities or some utilities to be able to remove things off of the network, and which is kind of neat. So now that I have the bootable media created, what I want to do to be able to get some of the tools or the DAWs tools that are included with this, I need to be able to copy this up onto my network share here, since I want to be able to use this as a VM to boot up another one. And let's go ahead and do that right now. So what I want to do is, let me get to my network share here really quick. Oops. Oh, hang on. To find out what my URL is. Hang on. All right, let's create a map drive to my network storage here, which is the best way to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on this, create a map drive, also connect using different credentials. And let's go to backup. Whoops, it's data, backup. Ask for the username and password. Alright, looks like we got access to it. Here's where my backup OS folder is. Looks like I've already copied one from a previous installation in here. I'm going to go ahead and just delete that one and add one of the newer ones in here. Copy here. Alright, we have our bootable media now. Let's go ahead and create a new VM, by default one here. And I'm going to do this, I'll install this one later, since this is going to be a stock one. It will be Windows 10 64-bit. And let's call this one YouTube Test. And I'll put it on one of my flash drives here. 60 gigabits is fine. And let's change one feature on here so I can do a bridged connection. And let's finish it. Alright, and let's go ahead and select that image as a boot up image on here. And just 1 second. Grab the drive, put in some information here to get to it. password to get to the unit. Backup OS, and here's the boot drive. I'm going to boot it up to the CD-ROM here now. And since I've already created a drive and we've got 2 gigs of RAM in it, and I've set the network up to be bridged, which is great. And let's go ahead and click OK on it. Okay, let's go ahead and start it up. Boot to the CD-ROM. Looks like it's booting up just fine. And this is pretty quick. This is about how fast it is when you hook it up on a USB bootable device. You know, this is the ISO version of it, so it will go pretty quickly. And now we're booting up to the Aomei Backer Upper free software, which also, again, I'm going to say that has a professional version that's even better. There's some more advantages to use that. So what we want to select here first, now normally what you'd have to do is we'd want to go to the Utilities tab, and you notice that it has a Windows shell command. So if you were trying to back up, or you're trying to back up over another original system, what you want to do is you want to be able to run disk part. And what you would want to do is you'd want to check the drive out. You'd want to remove the contents of the drive. So what you would do is you type in list disk, and we know that we have a 60 gig in there, so we want to say select disk 0, since that's the only one in here. And then what we'd want to do is we'd want to type in clean and hit enter on it. So this is if you are bringing back a restored image, you need to be able to get it to work and work correctly. This is how you need to do it when you're going to bring it up on a system that is being recovered from the backup, or you're trying to put it on a new computer other than the one you're trying to back this up to. So basically and essentially, you could copy or clone a system by using this method, but you know, there's some legalities about you using more than one copy of a license on a machine, but leave that at your discretion. So, but you can do this to copy multiple machines or restore them. So let's go ahead and exit out of that. Let's go to the restore feature, click System Restore, and then we want to select the path, and we're going to use the Share NAS folder again. And I'm going to go ahead and give this one a YouTube name again. And let's go back to that, my network share again. I got to type better today. Backup, and it's backup-os. Put the username and password in here. And the one I did is right here, which is the YouTube backup. And you notice it made it into one little nice little file. Even though it was 13 gigabytes, it looks like it compressed it close to half, or just a little above half. But you can see that it's 7 gigs. So I'm highlighting that image. I'm going to click OK on it. It's going to come up and say, yes, I do want to restore it, the image completely. I want to highlight this. This is important. You have to highlight this again, and then you need to check that box where it says restore system to another location. Click next. You want to select the only drive that's available, and then click next. And you want to be able to click at the last part of it, click restore. It is telling you that it's going to create 2 different partitions for it, which are part of the Windows booting and one of the main drives. So let's go ahead and click restore. And let's see how long it says it'll take. Kind of give an idea here. It usually always goes right up to 50% like that, and then it'll kind of give you a real estimate of how long it's going to take. So it says it's 3 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and I'll kind of let you know how long it actually did take. Looks like it's almost done. It did take about 3 minutes. It was accurate, but look, it's actually compressed it or uncompressed it from 13 gig or 12.3 gig to 7.7 gig, and it's uncompressing it quite well. It's doing it pretty quickly. I haven't tried the ultra compression, which maybe I should try a little video on that as well. Looks like it's just about done. And it is. It's finished. So let's click finish on it. And let's go ahead and exit out of the utility here. And then it should start the process. It should reboot unless it's booting back to the CD, which I don't think it is. It should boot back to the Windows environment here. So let's wait for it to come up here just 1 second. Looks like it's booting to a Windows environment, unless it's booting to nope, it's booting to the Windows. And it's probably more than likely going to go through and detect that it's found new hardware on this as it comes back up. Yep, it looks like it's doing it right there. And we have a working operating system just like that. It's been copied. This will actually work as well by loading it from a real machine into the virtual environment and then exporting it back again. So you see that we have two machines here. This is one. This is computer number one. And then now I've actually clicked on and have number two. So if you see here on this, I'll make a new folder right here just so you can see the difference. That this is I do have two different machines. So I'll click on my second one here and you'll see that the folder is gone. You see the one here I've created. This is the one that I created called the YouTube test, and then this is the original one. So it did make an exact copy, and it's a fully working setup. Hey, thanks for joining. I cannot stress on how good this application works, and to backing up your system and having some place to be able to have a complete backup of your operating system and restore it very quickly. Thanks again.